Hey guys, Sarek here, and today I've got a quick video for you, just an opening of the brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Structure deck. This is the Ice Barrier Structure deck, which has been a bit of a meme within the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community since its release back in Hidden Arsenal. So these came out today, so I'm just going to open one up for you and have a look at what's inside. So we have, as always, we have our playmat, which has some of the combo guides and a few ideas of things that you could use to power up the deck. And then we have our deck. So we've got this comes with, I believe, all the synchros and a load of new cards, including some of the jump promos that were only available, that weren't in the original Japanese deck. So let's have a look at what we've got in here. So, we've got Revealer of the Ice Barrier. While you control another Ice Barrier, your opponent cannot tribute summon. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. Discard one card, special summon one Ice Barrier tuner from your deck. You cannot special summon for the rest of your turn except water monsters. If you discard a card or send a card from your hand to the graveyard to activate an Ice Barrier's effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead of one of those cards. Okay. So that's a special summon from the deck, searches a tuner. Speaker for the Ice Barrier, complete with dog. While you control another Ice Barrier, defense position monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle position. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon this card from a hand. And if you control an Ice Barrier monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard, special summon one Ice Barrier token. Okay. So this is a nice extender in hand and an extender in graveyard, so this one's probably very, very good for the archetype. We have Zujin of the Ice Barrier. Tribute this card, special summon one level 5 from your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one level 3 or higher monster you control, reduce its level by 2, and special summon this card. Okay, so this gives you some nice level manipulation and ways of getting the higher level Ice Barriers out of your hand. Winds over Ice Barrier. Special summon from your deck. That many, level 4. Okay, so this allows you to essentially change out your and then recycle them. Okay, so this will allow you to sort of swap your Ice Barriers into the ones you need to make your plays. Here's new Trish. So, 1 tuner, 2 non-tuner monsters, level 11 synchro, 2700 attack. When this card is synchro summoned, you can banish up to 3 cards your opponent controls. That's a nice effect to read, isn't it? If it's destroyed by an opponent's card, you can special summon one TRISHULAR from your extra deck or graveyard. Its attack becomes 3,000, then half the 3,300, then half the attack of any face-up monster your opponent currently controls, and negate their effects. Oh wow, that sounds like fun, doesn't it? Unfortunately, you have to rely on your opponent. You can't destroy it yourself. We have Duloran, perpetrator of many loops before it became a hard once per turn. Bryanak, again, also was horrifically exploited before it became a once per turn. Gungnir, which was always the most balanced of the Ice Barrier synchros by the fact that it needed non-tuner water monsters. And Trishula. Remember when this card was ridiculously expensive when it first came out in Hidden Arsenal. When this card is synchroed, you can banish up to 1 card each from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard. It's an incredibly strong effect. It's a level 9 synchro, and this card was on the ban list for the longest time. We have General Wayne of the Ice Barrier. Spells and traps sent to the field to the opponent's graveyard are banished instead. Hello, Eldritch. This is the Eldritch counter, guys. If your opponent controls a monster you control an Ice Barrier, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 Ice Barrier spell trap from your deck to your hand. Okay. Hexa, Spirit of the Ice Barrier, Little Froggy. While you control another Ice Barrier, this is level 1 tuner. While you control another Ice Barrier, monsters your opponent controls lose 500 attack and defense. You can send 1 level 3 or lower from your deck to your graveyard, this card's level becomes that much. Okay, so this gives you some nice level manipulation, and your ice barriers that have graveyard effects can be used. Blizzed, Defender of the Ice Barrier. These are the old ice barrier monsters now. Cryomancer of the Ice Barrier. Prior of the Ice Barrier. Defender of the Ice Barrier. Warlock of the Ice Barrier. Spellbreaker of the Ice Barrier. Strategist of the Ice Barrier. Dance Princess of the Ice Barrier. Daisojo of the Ice Barrier. General Raiho of the Ice Barrier. Medium of the Ice Barrier. General Gantala of the Ice Barrier. General Grunard of the Ice Barrier. Gen X Controller. This is an important reprint. This hadn't been reprinted in absolutely ages, along with Gen X Undine. Aqua Spirit. And now another lot of important reprints. The Frog Engine. Dupe Frog and Ronin Toadin were going up and up in price currently. They were what, £3, £4 each nearly? So these are really, really important reprints. Swap Frog, of course, got a reprint last year in Dual Overload. But Ronin Toadin and Swap Frog are really, really important reprints for Paleo Frogs, for just a lot of the water decks in general. Fishborg Launcher. Very nice tuner monster for water decks. Unfortunately, Fishborg Blaster is banned. Moulin Glacier, the Elemental Lord. This was a staple in Mermail decks. Silent Angler. Freezing Chains of the Ice Barrier. When this card is activated, you can target one level 4 or lower Ice Barrier monster in your graveyard, special summon it. Okay, so this is an Ice Monster Reborn effect. While you control 3 or more Ice Barrier monsters you control are unaffected by the activated effects of your opponent's monsters that were special summoned from the extra deck. Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier. Reveal 3 Ice Barriers with different names in your hand. Target one card your opponent controls. Destroy that target. This is another old card. Medallion of the Ice Barrier. Yes, Ice Barriers have a themed rotor that is better than rotor. This literally searches every monster in the deck. Mirror of the Ice Barrier. It's a bit situational. Salvage. Again, this was another card that was creeping up in price due to lack of reprints. Surface. Where art thou? A Pointer of the Red Lotus. This is a nice reprint as well. Fiendish Chain because it's a structure deck. Icebarn. Mind Drain, Heavy Storm Duster, it's another nice card to have, Crackdown, and finally, Terror of Trishula. Again, this is non-targeting removal, which is very useful, and can essentially be the entire Trishula effect if you can extend that far. Your opponent activates a card effect, and it also protects your Ice Barrier Synchro monsters. So that's the deck. I will be looking at making a profile with the structure decks, plus some extra bits that will come out in the next couple of weeks. I've got lots more things planned as well. So I hope you enjoyed the profile, and I will see you again soon.